Namaskar and welcome. With no viable option for government formation before him, Maharashtra's Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari recommended President's rule, which has since been imposed now in Maharashtra, and the political stalemate has continued in the state for 19 days. No party has been in a position to form the government even after 19 days since the election results were declared. So the Maharashtra political situation, it continues to be our focus, as does the Prime Minister's visit to Brazil for the 11th BRICS Summit and his 6th visit for the BRICS. In fact, his 6th BRICS Summit. You're watching Newsnight. Here, let's begin with the headlines. President's rule in Maharashtra, the ongoing impasse continues even after 19 days. The governor's report recommends central rule. President's promulgation comes on the advice of the Union Cabinet. The State Assembly to remain in suspended animation for 6 months. BJP welcomes decision to impose President's rule. Opposition cries foul. The Shiv Sena approaches the Supreme Court against the promulgation. NCP authorizes Sharad Pawar to take further action. Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarks on a journey to Brazil for the BRICS Summit and says that all issues will be discussed between the 5 major economies of the world, including digital economy, science and technology, and cooperation on counter-terrorism. Train services resume after a 3-month interval in Kashmir Valley. The train runs between Srinagar and Baramulla. Passengers express their happiness. One terrorist is eliminated in Ganderbal. The world celebrates the 550th birth anniversary of the first Sikh Guru, Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Devotees throng gurdwaras across India and the world. The President offers prayers at Sultanpur Lodi. Vice President and Prime Minister also wish devotees on the occasion. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar visits the Gurdwara in Nanded. Devotees throng ghats across India to take a holy dip in the rivers on Kartik Purnima. Lakhs visit Ayodhya amid tight security and take a dip in the Saryu, in the first religious congregation in the holy city since the Supreme Court's judgment. Earthen lamps lit at temples and banks of rivers on the auspicious occasion. Indian shuttlers continue to make a mark on the world stage after many players improve their individual ranking. India's men's doubles pair of Satvik Sairaj Ranik Reddy and Chirag Shetty reach a career best number 7 in the Badminton World Federation rankings. Our top story: President's rule has been imposed in Maharashtra. The Union Cabinet had earlier in the day recommended President's rule after the Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari submitted a report in this regard. President Ramnath Kovind signed the proclamation under Article 356(1) and, well, the Assembly has been kept in suspended animation. The Shiv Sena has approached the Supreme Court against this decision, but reports suggest the Shiv Sena is not likely to get an urgent hearing. Here's an account of the political developments in Maharashtra.
The political deadlock remains unbroken in Maharashtra. The House remains hung after the October 24 results. The governor explored several viable options and then suggested President's rule be imposed in the state. Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari sent his recommendation to the Home Ministry on Tuesday afternoon. The Union Cabinet, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, discussed the political situation in the state and decided to request the President to impose central rule in the state. The President, after due deliberation, approved the Cabinet's recommendation. President's rule has been imposed 19 days after the Assembly election results were announced. The Governor, in his recommendation, had said that he was satisfied that the government cannot be formed as per the Constitution. He therefore sends a report as per the provisions of Article 356 of the Constitution. The Governor takes administrative control of the state under President's rule. The Assembly is kept in suspended animation for 6 months. However, President's rule can be revoked any time during these 6 months. The BJP has welcomed the decision. The Shiv Sena, NCP and Congress have all opposed it. The Shiv Sena has even knocked on the doors of the Supreme Court against the decision.
देखिए, महाराष्ट्र लगभग 17 दिन बीत जाने के बाद भी कोई सरकार महाराष्ट्र में नहीं बन पाई और मैं समझता हूं कि राज्यपाल स्वतंत्र हैं कि परिस्थितियों को देखते हुए जो भी राज्य के हित में हो उसके संदर्भ में अनुशंसा करके भेजे। और मुझे लगता है कि जो पृष्ठभूमि महाराष्ट्र में है, उसी पृष्ठभूमि में राज्यपाल ने अपनी अनुशंसा केंद्र सरकार को भेजी।
I came to know about filing of a petition by Shiv Sena challenging the communication of the governor, by which the claim of Shiv Sena has been rejected with regard to formation of the government. Today I came to know about filing of the petition. I have come to the Supreme Court to collect a copy of the petition as well as to know about details of listing.
But this has not happened in a vacuum. On Monday, the Shiv Sena had claimed that both the NCP and the Congress had promised to support it in principle, but had failed to provide letters of support before the deadline of 7:30 p.m. given to it by the governor. The governor then asked the NCP whether it was in a position to form the government, giving it 24 hours to show whether it had the requisite support. The NCP is reported to have written a letter to the governor at 11 a.m. asking for 48 hours to do so. The governor declined their request and recommended President's rule. However, the NCP and Congress continue to hold meetings throughout the day, both in Delhi and Mumbai. The NCP says no government can be formed in Maharashtra without the support of the Congress and without adequate consultations between the three parties. The Congress believes that the parties can work out a common minimum program and then stake claim to form the government, after which President's rule can be revoked.
आज राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी के विधायक दल की बैठक हुई। सभी हमारे चुने हुए 54 विधायक मीटिंग में हाजिर थे। मीटिंग में प्रदेश अध्यक्ष सन्माननीय जयंत पाटिल जी ने मार्गदर्शन किया। विधिमंडल पार्टी के हमारे नेता अजीत पवार जी का मार्गदर्शन हुआ। पवार साहब स्वयं राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी का मार्गदर्शन हुआ और सभी विधायकों ने एक प्रस्ताव पारित किया है कि आगे महाराष्ट्र में एक पर्याय सरकार निर्माण करने के लिए पवार साहब को पूरी तरह से अधिकार दिया जाता है।
राष्ट्रपति रूल आ भी जाएगा तभी सत्ता में कोई भी सरकार आने में वो कोई मना नहीं कर सकते हैं। वो कब भी राष्ट्रपति राजवट लिफ्ट अप कर सकती है और नया सरकार आ सकता है।
The 288-member assembly is currently split between the BJP with 105 MLAs, Shiv Sena 56, NCP 54, Congress 44 and others 29. Even though President's rule has been imposed in the state, every attempt has been made to respect the people's mandate. With Shishir and Shama in Mumbai and Rishi and Shailendra in Delhi, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
So let's put the political developments in Maharashtra into context with the help of some graphics. So let's look first at this particular graphic that's going to come up on your screen. So political developments in Maharashtra, well, the previous Maharashtra Assembly term ended on the 9th of November. Hence, action had to be taken. The 9th of November was the last date, and after that, now, well, see, the election results for the new assembly were declared on October 24. So there is a new assembly in place, and it should have taken office. There should have been a government by November 9th. No government was formed even after 15 days of the results. Hence, the governor had to act. So the governor took some actions. On November 9, the governor invites the BJP to form the government. So he first invited the BJP to form the government, and the BJP expressed its inability to form the government. So what did the governor do next? The governor then, on the 10th of November, invites the Shiv Sena to form the government. So he invited the Shiv Sena to form the government. The Shiv Sena was given time till 7:30 p.m. on the 11th of November, and they were unable to form the government. The Shiv Sena asked for 3 days extra time. That demand was not accepted by the governor. So the NCP now gets an invitation from the governor to form the government, and that was also on the 11th itself. But the NCP was given time till 8:30 on the 12th of November. But as we heard in our report as well, the NCP has written a letter asking for 2 days extra time on the 12th of November, that's today. And well, the governor recommended President's rule to the Home Ministry in the afternoon because he couldn't have any other option. The cabinet approved the proposal for President's rule, sent it to the President for his deliberation. The cabinet proposal was sent to the President. The President, after due consultations, promulgated. He approved President's rule, and it has been promulgated in the state of Maharashtra. So let's go back in time. In 1978, Sharad Pawar separated from the Congress party, and he formed a party which actually took power, and he was the chief minister there in the state under the Indian National Congress Socialist. That was his party at the time. And well, that party that formed the government, it was called the Progressive Democratic Front government. It lasted for 2 years, but then after that, President's rule was actually imposed for a period of a few months. In 1980, the Congress formed the government, winning 186 seats. So President's rule has already been imposed there in 1980. Shiv Sena did not contest this election in 1980, but it supported the Congress party. So we have a precedent of the Shiv Sena actually supporting the Congress. In 1985, the Congress formed the government once again, and in 1985, in 1988, Sharad Pawar returned to the Congress and he became the chief minister once again, and under the Congress party. Now, the Congress in 1990 formed the government for the last time on its own, in fact. That was the last time it formed the government on its own. But the BJP and the Shiv Sena had risen as opposition parties in 1990, and since then, there has been a very strong fight for that state. The Shiv Sena chief minister, Manohar Joshi and Narayan Rane, took office under a Shiv Sena government. That was in 1999. Then once again, Sharad Pawar forms the NCP, and the NCP and the Congress come into power. In 2004, the NCP and the Congress alliance and the Shiv Sena and the BJP alliance fought the election, but the NCP and the Congress regained power once again after 5 years. They were in power from 1999. 2004, they once again won power. In 2009, they repeated the 2004 history. So for 15 years, the NCP and the Congress were in power in the state. And then for a brief while in 2014, President's rule was also imposed for 32 days. The second time President's rule has been imposed in the state. And then in 2014, 4 major parties contested separately. The BJP forms the government, later joined by the Shiv Sena. This is what happened in 2014. Devendra Fadnavis became the chief minister. And we know what happened in 2019. The BJP and Shiv Sena alliance actually won this election. But then we know we are in the current times, so we know exactly what has happened since then. So we are going to be discussing all this, putting it into context with our guests in the studio. Stay with us. We're taking a short break. So let's bring in our in-focus point of discussion today, and this is it. On your screens, in focus. President's rule in Maharashtra, that's what we are discussing. President's rule in Maharashtra, as plain and simple as that. And to discuss that, we have with us Sanjay Singh, political editor of firstpost.com, and Prashant Kumar, advocate of the Supreme Court. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us. We'll start with you, Mr. Prashant Kumar. The options before the governor, they were all under scrutiny in a sense. Do you feel that, the governor had no other viable option but to recommend President's rule today?
See, I think in the present circumstances, the governor has played with by the rule book, because Sarkaria Commission had also recommended, and it had said that governor has to find a way that a viable government is formed. Now, here the facts are very stark. First of all, nobody comes, no party or no combination comes forward to stake the claim to form a government.
Right.
Already,
so which means the governor has to call somebody. Yes.
So it is governor who had to take the initiative,
and
he has gone by the rule book, called the largest party.
Right.
And the largest party declined that we don't have majority, so we are not staking the claim to form the government.
Right.
Then the governor called the second largest party.
Right.
And then the third party. Now, the question here is that once all these three parties have been called and the election results have been out for last more than 2 weeks.
Exactly.
So saying that, no time has been given, only 24 hours have been given. No, you had the time
Absolutely.
from the
In
day
fact,
the
in fact,
election results were declared.
that is a question that Sanjay
So-
Singh can actually come in on,
Yeah.
because that's a political question. And, really, the arguments that 24 hours were not enough, Sanjay Singh, for these parties, they probably were aware of what was going on. The Shiv Sena was posturing for so many days. These things, could have been worked out if they say that they didn't have the time. They could have actually worked these things out over the last 19 days.
This evening I heard a press conference held by Sharad Pawar and Ahmed Patel.
Right.
Ahmed Patel had a grudge that why Congress was not called. That was party number 4
Right.
with 44 seats.
Right.
Why he was not called, and prior to that President rule was imposed. Now coming to a situation whereby Sena was, BJP of course declined the offer. BJP thought it prudent not to go for it, and Sena was invited. I think Sanjay Raut was telling the whole world that he has about 180 numbers in that house. Combined numbers of NCP, Congress, Shiv Sena and also independents. If those were the numbers, he was already in conversation with Sharad Pawar, he was in conversation with Congress party, and I think any astute politician, mature politician would know that the party which was on number 2 or number 3, somebody who never had electoral alliance with anyone,
Yes.
would actually not be given 10-15 days time. Till such time there is somebody actually makes a claim inside the house that government falls, and thereafter an alternate is invited by the governor, and thereafter he remains there for some time. So I think Shiv Sena, I think, would be biggest loser. They tried for a shorter game, blinded by an ambition that somebody from their family, Thackeray family, would be Chief Minister, Uddhav Thackeray or Aditya Thackeray, and I think that does not augur well for Shiv Sena, making compromises not just on ideals, principle, political ideology, and also the practices which Bal Thackeray followed. But that is besides that question would be answered by Shiv Sena politically when they go for next polls or something happen within their party.
Fair enough.
But today, in a situation whereby NCP is saying Shiv Sena has gone to court, Shiv Sena was given time. A time cannot be indefinitely given. Now that December 9 deadline for expiry of date of assembly had expired. So therefore, I think going to Supreme Court is also for optics, also for saying something to their electorate, their social constituency, that look, no, they are still a force, they are fighting it out in Supreme Court and so on.
Fair enough. So let's look at that approach of to the Supreme Court, Mr. Prashant Kumar. What the Shiv Sena is unlikely to get an urgent hearing, but President's rule has now been imposed for 6 months, and perhaps they have time. These parties actually have time to negotiate behind the scenes, because the House has been kept in suspended animation. So how do you look at it legally under the circumstances?
See, legally, any interference by Supreme Court or by any court can only be as per the settled case law. In Rameshwar Prasad's case, in Bommai's case, can only be when the recommendation of the governor or the president's action is accentuated by malefides or entirely extraneous material. Now, there is a area of subjective satisfaction in which the court has said that we cannot go into. So, according to me, according to the settled legal position, whether 24 hours are given or 36 hours are given or this thing is unlikely that the Supreme Court is going to wade into these questions or examine these questions.
Another question on the governor itself, Mr. Prashant Kumar. Sanjay Singh did say that Ahmed Patel was upset that the Congress was not called, that it had 44 seats. Now, 44 is definitely not a viable number, one would say. But, all these three were basically looking at they all needed each other in the combination. So, is there some strength in that particular argument?
No, again, as I say, that constitutionally, if they are saying that, they can have a ground to challenge it and all, that is not there. And here, the very stark question is that even when NCP has been called to lay a claim, it could be with the Congress in the lead. So NCP saying that no arrangement has been worked out, and it is subjective satisfaction on the political scenario, on the granular basis of the governor, whether a viable government or a majority is possible. Here there is a case, nobody has come forward. If
Right,
they had
absolutely.
something, they should have come forward. They have not come forward. So how can they say today that
Sanjay Singh-
governor has not
Sanjay
invited
Singh,
us?
This election we know it was fought in alliances, and each party actually didn't contest all the seats. So, and we know that the strike rate of the BJP was very high. It was like 69%. All the other parties have actually got a strike rate below 50%, which means that even if they had contested all the seats, they would have fallen below the majority. The only party with that kind of strike rate that could have formed a majority on its own was the BJP. So, I mean, politically speaking, how does you think that the electorate can understand all this, or it's just a numbers game at the end of the day?
No, people actually understand. If you look at Shiv Sena, in fact, last time Shiv Sena was not willing to concede more 2-3 seats that it was willing to give to BJP, and BJP was asking only 2-3 seats more. And thereafter, what happened, they fought separately, and BJP had some 122 numbers,
right.
and Shiv Sena ultimately yielded to that. People actually see this, they went into with an alliance. That alliance was very clear as to what they stand for. That alliance, it was also clear to people that Devendra Fadnavis was to be chief minister. Devendra Fadnavis was saying this thing in all the rallies.
Right.
Narendra Modi was saying this thing in all the rallies.
Okay.
Amit Shah was saying this thing in all the rallies. So it was very, very clear. Now we are in a situation whereby Sena is saying that no matter beyond chief minister, nothing is negotiable. Our man is going to be chief minister.
Okay.
A party which has 105, other party which has 56. The other party is saying that I'll have my chief minister on the throne. The two parties, they are asking for support, NCP and Congress.
Yes.
In today's press conference held by Pawar and Ahmed Patel, they say that first we will talk among ourselves,
Yes.
and thereafter we are to decide as to what to form policies.
Okay,
That's
fair enough.
I think a year-long program by which they are going to decide, and Shiv Sena was not invited there. So I think there are serious issues whereby the governor has acted.
Fine. And I think that's all the time we have for. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for being with us. So President's rule imposed in Maharashtra, and probably under the best circumstances, under the right circumstances, and for the good of the state. We're going to take a short commercial break. Stay with us. Very short discussion. All set to hold the 11th edition of the BRICS Summit, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi heads to Brazil. A jam-packed schedule lies ahead of him there, and apart from the summit, he will be attending the closing session of the BRICS Business Council and also several bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the summit. And well, the Prime Minister will also lay special emphasis on efforts to counter terrorism and the change in the status quo on multilateralism front. Let's look at this report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi heads to Brasilia to participate in the 11th BRICS Summit on the 13th and 14th of November. This is his second visit to Brazil. The country holds the BRICS chair and is hosting this summit.
This is a very important summit because you correctly pointed out we have finished 10 years, one full decade of BRICS. Under Brazil's presidency, they have given priority to one, strengthening cooperation on science and technology. Second is strengthening cooperation on digital economy related areas. Third is strengthening, of course, people-to-people contacts. And fourth and important is strengthening cooperation on terrorism.
This is the venue here right in front of us, the Itamaraty Palace, which will be the focus of the BRICS Summit, where the leaders of all the 5 nations of BRICS will converge here and reaffirm their commitment towards economic growth for an innovative future.
In his departure statement, Prime Minister Narendra Modi shared his vision for the summit. On the sidelines of the BRICS summit, he will be addressing the BRICS Business Forum and interacting with BRICS Business Council as well as the New Development Bank. He said improving economic linkages augur well for the BRICS nation.
The cooperation between BRICS countries have achieved remarkable success in building new cooperation and development mechanisms. It will help the convergence of our economies and create job opportunities and income.
On day one of his visit, apart from participating in the welcome ceremony, followed by the gala dinner hosted by President Bolsonaro, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also hold bilateral meetings with host President Bolsonaro. The two leaders will discuss ways to deepen the India-Brazil strategic partnership. Prime Minister highlighted the potential in sectors like trade, defense, agriculture and energy that the two countries share. He will also hold bilateral meetings with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping. This will be his first meeting with both leaders after the recent RCEP meet that saw India opting out of the free trade agreement.
I think that the decision of India is a decision that everybody has to understand, because India has analyzed internally and it has seen that it would have probably more negative consequences than positive consequences. And I believe that everybody has to think this way. One of the important aspects that Brazil wants to discuss in the BRICS meeting is the issue of sovereignty. Okay. We have to always remember that the multilateralism and the plurilateralism cannot go against the individual countries' interests.
BRICS leaders will meet the BRICS Business Council on day 2. The BRICS leaders' restricted session as well as plenary sessions will also play out on the 14th of November. A BRICS MOU between trade and investment promotion agencies will also be inked. Talking of expected outcomes, the establishment of a Women Business Alliance as well as the launch of iBRICS or an Innovation BRICS network is on the cards. The launch of a BRICS Institute Future network is also likely.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lead the platform of BRICS in calling for a sustainable development and a joint fight against terror with cameraman Praveen Johar, Aisha Khanam, DD News, Brasilia.
So we know that this is a very important summit. In fact, the theme of the summit is economic growth for innovative future, and the Prime Minister is looking forward to holding discussions with the BRICS leaders on greater cooperation in a wide range of issues. And on the sidelines of the summit, the Prime Minister said that he would be addressing the BRICS Business Forum and interacting with the BRICS Business Council as well as the New Development Bank. He will be improving linkages for India, and these improve the augur well for the BRICS nations as well. And the visit to Brazil will give the Prime Minister an opportunity, he says, to hold talks with the President of Brazil, as well as ways to deepen Indo-Brazil strategic partnership, apart from other things. There's great potential in several sectors, including trade, in defense, agriculture, and energy. So we are going to discuss all this. We have with us our guests in the studio, but let's bring in our in focus point for tonight. And this is it. BRICS for economic growth and global integration is going to be our focus point. To discuss this, we have Ambassador S.R. Thayal, is a former ambassador of India, and Dr. Sachin Chaturvedi is the Director General of Research and Information Systems for Developing Countries. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us. Ambassador Thayal, look at how important is BRICS? It's the 11th summit. It's growing, perhaps in importance. There is also this protectionism around the world. There is a threat to multilateralism. How do you see this forum, in the 11th summit?
The reason BRIC was BRIC, initially it was BRIC, B-R-I-C,
That's right.
Brazil, Russia, India and China, was established first in 2006 at foreign minister level, and then after 2008 when there was this global financial turmoil. Then in 2009 the leaders started meeting at the summit level, and the main agenda is really economic and the stability of the global economy, and that the interests of the developing countries, 4 of us, and now South Africa is also there, should be protected, because the agenda was being really driven by the G8 or G7, and later of course G20 etc. came, but this was an attempt that in the global economic agenda, financial agenda, policy making, the developing countries, the major developing economies should have an input. Now as we are in 2019, things are again looking very uncertain. There are a lot of headwinds. The economic progress is slowing down globally. There are Brexit is there, England is leaving, UK is leaving European Union. There are trade war between United States and China. So the whole, there is the question of the free trade, the principle of free trade is being questioned. Absolutely. And we ourselves have issues. You know, we have not joined RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, because somehow this entire free trade arrangement has not worked to the advantage of all the partners, all the countries. And now, but again, so the trade, free trade, how does it move forward? But the agenda for this particular summit given by the host is on economic growth for an innovative future, because for one reason or the other, in the previous industrial revolutions, the developing countries, major developing countries, India, China, Russia, etc., have been left behind. We have been led by the European countries and by United States. That in the fourth industrial revolution, the innovation based economy, knowledge based economy, artificial intelligence based economy, all of our BRIC countries work together and how deal with it and have leadership.
Let's bring in Dr. Sachin Chaturvedi on this, because how important is innovation actually for the future? Because and we also know that you know, keeping in mind India's strength in this sector, in the areas of innovation, and also perhaps the rest of the BRICS countries, as they can leapfrog. We are emerging economies, but really the emergence is coming because of innovation, in a sense, isn't it?
That's right, Mark, because if you recall the G20 summit that we all were in Osaka along with the BRICS countries, the issue of innovation is of key significance when we have to move forward with Industrial Revolution 4.0 as artificial intelligence, data localization, e-commerce, they all play an extremely important role. So, so digital economy, its connect with technology and with our banking, finance, several of these initiatives. It's very important that innovation has been identified by Brazil as the key priority. As you know, at the summit, the leaders would also launch what is being called as iBRICS, Innovation BRICS Network. And this innovation network is going to strengthen the institutional capability of the BRICS countries to respond. Now, all BRICS countries are not at the same level of industrial development and its connect with technology. So, from that perspective, Brazil, South Africa and India are largely in the same bracket. So, what we often call as IPSA, India, Brazil, South Africa, has this unique pivot position in terms of leveraging technology for economic development, because Russia and China both are into very separate categories. So from that perspective, it is important that innovation is leveraged, and that's where Prime Minister's emphasis on multilateralism in terms of global governance of technology, and also in terms of identifying the priority areas for developing countries to contribute comes in very handy.
Ambassador Thayal, how do you look at, you know, India's positioning? Because India is both a member of RIC, India is a member of IBSA, and you know, together everything is BRICS. So India is the common factor in a sense, and you know, how important is that in India getting its say, India getting you know, important issues like, let's say, counter-terrorism, these issues that are dear to India, addressed at this forum?
We are a country of 1.3 billion, very growing economy, 8th or 7th largest economy of the world. So, we have a certain position, we have a certain weight in the global matters, and in many ways we also act as a bridge between the developing countries and the developed world.
That's right.
Because part of our economy is very developed, part of our economy is still developing, and that is a very major role which we play when we go in different forums. And this is the index of importance of India as an economy, as a strategic power, as a global player, as a player which is trying to harmonize positions, that we are able to work with Russia and China in RIC, we are there in IPSA, we are at G20. So, the global acceptability of India in different forums is very high. It is because we take very genuine positions which are take care of the interests of ourselves as well as of other countries, and we do not go by very ideological positions. The free trade is good for everybody, okay, free trade is good. Yes, but it has to be qualified, it has to be harmonized, it has to be realistic, and everybody should go together. I think that is where it gives a lot of credibility to what our Prime Minister says, what our government says.
Important statement also on is likely Dr. Sachin Chaturvedi on the Women's Business Alliance. Importance of women in business itself and women's empowerment and gender parity, these are important roles being addressed at this particular summit. How important do you think this is?
This, I think, has gradually acquired much more significance given the fact that both South Africa and India, they have launched at the domestic level several special programs to bring in women in the mainstream of economic development. The whole Mudra experience that India has provided ample opportunities for women in this country to come forward and be part of the economic development that is unfolding. Similarly, South Africa already has a major program to bring in women entrepreneurs. Brazil was the one that started with Bolsa Familia, which was largely for social security, but the gender remained pivot in terms of the economic development and response of the policy frameworks within Brazil. So from that perspective, you see that all the 5 countries are going to push that forward in terms of bringing in the financial architecture, the business architecture, and also access to credit as one of the important dimensions. And that's where the BRICS Institute of Future Network that has also been proposed, I think is of great significance. Here one more important point, Mark, what Prime Minister had given a call in 2016 when India hosted the BRICS summit to the new development bank to focus more on new energy sources, and this is what the president of the new development bank is going to report to the leaders tomorrow, where they would be talking about how much of $12 billion that they have extended has actually gone to clean energy, and women are direct beneficiary of this initiative of the BRICS.
Okay, and talking about the new development bank, Ambassador Tayal, this has been it's one of the big outcomes really of BRICS, and at the end of the day, these countries are they need infrastructure development, and they need investments in infrastructure, and perhaps credit for that particular purpose, long gestation period credit. How do you see the functioning of the new development bank since it came into existence?
I think it is doing well. They have first portfolio of investments has now been approved. They have opened a branch in South Africa also, and there is another portfolio of $30–40 billion just for Africa, which is being mentioned. So the total corpus is about $100 billion. $50 billion is already in the pipeline. So it is work in progress. I think it is going well. But I would point out that another very important agenda item for this meeting is the fight against international crime, where money laundering has been very specifically mentioned, and that leads to even financial support to terrorism, whether it is Financial Action Task Force and whether it is the whole fight against terrorism.
This will be at the government to government level.
That will be at government to government level, and I think we have certain issues, and Pakistan of course is there in FATF, it is facing charges. So this will be a good opportunity for India to put forward its point of view and bring all the countries together. That the money laundering for corruption, the very major plank of our government at present is to fight corruption and all kinds of monies which are being hidden in Geneva and all kinds of tax havens all over the world. That somehow all those tax havens should be shut down, and there should be more transparency. I think that is a very major agenda item of Prime Minister Modi. And all these two factors will also be there to be good discussion.
Dr. Chaturvedi, this is the BRICS is happening at a time when there is a global economic slowdown, and how important is business to business contacts, not the government to government level, but really the business forums, and maybe MOUs and between companies. This is the 11th summit, and every single one has been attended by business leaders. How much progress do you think the business to business angles are making?
That's, I think, extremely interesting to see the reports that are coming out of the business forum, where they have really had a very important impact in terms of how do we go forward. In fact, if you see the agenda also lists MOU to be signed between trade and investment promoting agencies, which is actually going to facilitate.
Are they government agencies?
These are largely the government agencies, because they play the facilitating role for business to come forward. There are issues related to visa, there are issues related to a recognition of registration of companies in each other's country. There are also MOUs for promoting listing in a stock exchange of each other. So these are some of the dimensions where role of the state is extremely important. It is also important to, of course, provide the platform for the business to explore possibility. And if you see the trade relations between Brazil and India, for that matter, which is also coming up for discussion at the bilateral that Prime Minister Modi would hold, it is important to see that the trade is expanded at an exponential pace. And India's focus and Commerce Ministry's focus on the Latin American countries is a new emphasis. Our idea of connecting with Mercosur is of great significance at this point.
Ambassador Thayil, you know, at one of the earlier BRICS summits, there was talk about trade actually in the currencies of these countries rather than, use the US dollar. What extent, is that feasible, and do you think that much progress has been made in that idea?
Some progress has been made that in the settlements renminbi, perhaps the Chinese currency could be used, but progress is slow. But for adjustment of credits required, there is a BRICS contingent reserve arrangement. I think that is in place, and whenever required, that can be like the Chiang Mai initiative has been there for ASEAN countries, etc. It is a very good tool for confidence building, and so that there is suddenly not a run on the foreign currency of any member of BRICS.
Okay, and a final word from you, Dr. Sachin Chaturvedi. So there are going to be, a number of bilateral meetings as well. What would you think would be the, big takeaways from the BRICS summit? It's just 2 days, and it's, well, one looks at the distance, really it's far away. The Prime Minister is going to be traveling almost 24 hours to reach there, and then he comes back.
No, that's right. There is huge significance of this. BRICS as a platform per se has given a message. Last year when we celebrated the 10th anniversary in Joburg, we gave a very clear message in terms of the relevance of the platform. Western scholars and observers have been raising issues related to relevance of BRICS, but I think it has succeeded in terms of both providing an alternative mechanism of financing the development projects, articulating the alternative development paradigm that BRICS stand for, as exemplified through the new development bank and the CRA, the contingency reserve arrangement, but also in terms of their collective position on multilateralism. Given the kind of hegemonic powers that we are seeing and the unilateral role of the United States, I think it's much more important for BRICS to collectively come out in favor of multilateralism and give a strong message in terms of saving WTO and other multilateral platforms. They have also been pressing for reforms at World Bank and IMF, and I think this opportunity would again be very important in that respect.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Thayil and Dr. Sachin Chaturvedi. And viewers, you'll be listening to a lot more about the BRICS summit over the next few days. So let's move on to our next story then. Over 3 months after they were suspended, rail services in Kashmir resumed on Tuesday, bringing relief and cheer to the common man. In the valley, the Indian Railways train chugged between Baramulla and Srinagar this morning. It connected not only the two different places, but also it made a strong statement on the situation in the valley, which is normal.
It was a special Tuesday in Kashmir Valley as train services resumed in the region that had been disrupted for the past 3 months. As a precautionary measure, only 2 trains will ply in the initial days between Srinagar and Baramulla from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The residents in the valley had to face umpteen hassles as train services had been disrupted there owing to the abrogation of Article 370. But with the resumption of train services, the people are a happy lot in the valley now. A successful trial run on the route was conducted on Monday by railway officials in Kashmir Valley, after which normal train services resumed between Srinagar and Baramulla. The centre also reiterated that the situation remains normal in Jammu and Kashmir and more development projects and schemes will be started for the people there.
रेलगाड़ियाँ भी चल रही हैं, बल्कि रियासी एक ज़िला है जिसके हमारे अभी शिक्षक यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं। विश्व का सबसे ऊंचा रेल का पुल वहाँ निर्माणाधीन है, जो एल्फिल टावर से, जो पेरिस का है, उससे 35 मीटर ऊंचा है।
Meanwhile, a group of teachers from Jammu and Kashmir met Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh to apprise him of the genuine problems faced by them.
जम्मू कश्मीर के अंदर एक इंडिपेंडेंट एजुकेशन कमीशन चाहते हैं हम। वो रहना चाहिए कि जिसमें पॉलिटिकल इंटरफेरेंस नहीं हो। पॉलिटिकल इंटरफेरेंस के कारण जो है ये सारा गड़बड़ रहता है। शिक्षा के अंदर के क्षेत्र के अंदर सुधार हो और राष्ट्रवाद की शिक्षा को बढ़ावा मिले। ये अलगाववाद और जितना सारा चल रहा है, धारा 370 हटने के बाद ये सारा चीज़ें अब जो ड्यूटी बनने के बाद सारी जो एजुकेशन में कैसा होना चाहिए, इसके लिए हमारा एक बहुत बड़ा रोल है। हम लोग जम्मू कश्मीर के अंदर एक सामाजिक स्तर पर भी ये सारा काम कर रहे हैं। इन सारे विषयों को लेकर के हम दिल्ली में डॉक्टर जितेंद्र जी के साथ हमारा एक 95 लोगों का डेलीगेशन मिलने के लिए जहाँ पे आया था।
Dr. Singh assured them that the situation has improved in the region and development will also pick up pace not before long.
जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि शिक्षक समाज में ओपिनियन मेकर का भी कार्य करते हैं। यदि आप उनसे बातचीत करें तो आपको स्वयं ध्यान में आएगा कि जो बदली हुई परिस्थिति है, जो नई व्यवस्था है, अनुच्छेद 370 के हटने के बाद और यूनियन टेरिटरी की स्थापना होने के बाद, उससे कितने प्रभावित और कितने उत्साहित और आशावाद हैं।
Meanwhile, armed forces continue to hold a tight grip on the security situation in the valley. A terrorist was killed and a security jawan was injured in an encounter between terrorists and security forces in Gandarbal on Tuesday. With inputs from Ramatyagi in Srinagar and Vishal Baristo in Delhi, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
The President, Vice President and Prime Minister greeted the Sikh community and the people of the country on the occasion of the 550th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. The celebrations marking the Prakash Parv of the Sikh faith's founder were witnessed across the country and the world with great enthusiasm.
The 550th birth anniversary of the first Sikh Guru and founder of Sikh faith, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, was celebrated with much gaiety and festivity, not only in India but in other parts of the world too. As the day is celebrated as Prakash Parv, Gurudwaras were illuminated beautifully to mark the day. Devotees from all across the world are thronging the holy city of Amritsar and Sultanpur Lodhi to pay obeisance. President Ramnath Kovind participated in the program organized in Sultanpur Lodhi to mark the pious occasion. He offered prayers at the Gurudwara and highlighted how Guru Nanak Dev Ji advocated virtues of equality, goodness, brotherhood and shunned the caste and rituals prevalent in our society.
Guru Nanak देव जी ने बराबरी, भाईचारा, नेकी और सदाचार की सीख देकर लोगों को जात पात और कर्म कांड से मुक्त करने का हमेशा प्रयास किया। अपनी बात लोगों के दिलों तक पहुंचाने के लिए उन्होंने संगीत की मिठास में रची बसी सरल भाषा में उपदेश भी दिए।
As the celebrations for the 550th anniversary of the Prakash Parv come to a close, the President's message from this holy city of Sultanpur Lodhi was to build an egalitarian society, one that's based on Guru Nanak Dev Ji's teachings of equality, compassion and social amity.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also greeted the nation on the occasion. He tweeted, "In a world that is increasingly fragmented with narrow tunnel vision, bigotry and dogmatism, we have to walk on the path shown to us by Guru Nanak Ji to dispel the darkness that constantly threatens to envelop individuals, communities and nations." Prime Minister Narendra Modi also conveyed his wishes on the 550th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. In a tweet he said, "Today, on the very special occasion of the 550th Prakash Parv of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, my greetings to everyone. This is a day to rededicate ourselves to fulfilling Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji's dream of a just, inclusive and harmonious society." He also shared a video on the occasion. Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Prakash Javadekar also participated in celebrations at Hazur Sahib in Nanded and inaugurated an exhibition there. The exhibition traced the timeline of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's life and teachings. After participating in the Langar Seva, the minister addressed a gathering wherein he lauded the diplomatic skills of Prime Minister Modi, which made Kartarpur corridor a reality for the devotees.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की कूटनीति की पहचान दुनिया ने जो कभी सोचा नहीं था वो होने लगा। इससे करतारपुर कॉरिडोर भी खुल गया और सभी भक्त आज वहां जाने लगे।
Golden Temple in Amritsar was also beautifully lit as devotees thronged the shrine on the auspicious occasion.
आज के दिन हम जैसे नाम जपते हैं और भी ज़्यादा मतलब इकट्ठे होके यहाँ पे कीर्तन सुनने आते हैं।
सारी संगत वहाँ पे दर्शन करने जाती है और लंगर शक्ति इकट्ठे बैठ के। ये गुरुपुरब की ये हमारी मानता है कि हम सारे एक दिन सारे इकट्ठे होके एक बारी में लंगर सारे सकते हैं यहाँ पे।
घर में रात को दिए वगैरह जलाते हैं, लड़ी वगैरह लगा लेते हैं।
भाईचारे का संदेश है यही, हर कौम का आदमी यहाँ पे महाराज जी का बर्थडे मनाने आता है।
Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also offered prayers at Gurudwara Bangla Sahib in the national capital. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla offered prayers at Rakabganj Gurudwara in Delhi. Himachal Pradesh CM Jairam Thakur also offered prayers at a Gurudwara in Shimla. Devotees in large number are thronging Bangla Sahib Gurudwara to offer prayers on the important occasion. The festivities and gaiety is witnessed in other parts of the world too. The Indian Consulate in Dubai too organized a special program to celebrate the 550th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. In Nepal, on the occasion, Path and Shabad Kirtan were organized at Gurudwara Guru Nanak Satsang in Kathmandu. Indian Ambassador to Nepal, Manjeev Singh Puri, and hundreds of devotees from Nepal, India and other countries attended the function. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was born on the full moon of Kartik month, Shukla Paksha in 1526 AD. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was not just a saint, but also a philosopher, social reformer, thinker and poet. With input from Amritpal Singh in Sultanpur Lodhi, Yogesh Sheetal from Nanded, Rajkumar from Kathmandu and Kanchan Prasad from Dubai, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
And a sea of devotees thronged the ghats across Uttar Pradesh to take a holy dip in the Ganga, Gomti and Saryu rivers on Kartik Purnima. This being the first religious congregation, in fact, in Ayodhya since the Supreme Court's judgment in the Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid case. The rush was palpable. Many devotees who came from neighboring districts of the state camped overnight, in fact, near the river. A huge crowd also gathered on the banks of the Ganga and Yamuna in Allahabad, as was the case in many parts of India.
The holy rite of Kartik Purnima saw a large number of devotees take holy dip in sacred rivers across the nation. A large number of devotees took a holy dip in Saryu River on Kartik Purnima amid tight security in Ayodhya, the first religious congregation in the temple town since the judgment in the Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid case. People began flocking to the ghats since early hours amid chants of Sita Ram playing on loudspeakers in the streets, while many devotees who came from neighboring districts in Uttar Pradesh camped overnight near the Saryu River. Devotees from various districts of Uttar Pradesh, including Barabanki, Sultanpur, Gonda and Bahraich, flock to Ayodhya every year on this festive season for a massive religious congregation on the banks of Saryu.
जो पूर्णिमा होती है प्रतिमाह में भव्य होती है मां सरजू जी की आरती, लेकिन इस वर्ष 9 तारीख को क्योंकि माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो उच्चतम न्यायालय का निर्णय आया है उसके उपलक्ष्य में 9 तारीख से ही भव्य आरती हो रही है और कल भी होगी पूर्णिमा के दिन, क्योंकि प्रत्येक पूर्णिमा को आरती होती है, तो राम लला के पुनः आगमन के उपलक्ष्य में यह आरती और भव्य मानी जा रही है.
A huge crowd also gathered on the banks of Ganga and Yamuna in Allahabad. Large number of devotees took the holy dip at the Sangam Ghat, the place of confluence of rivers Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati.
लोगों की सोच है कि हाँ भी गंगा में स्नान करना है, यहाँ पर आना है, अपने आप को पवित्र करना है. इतने दूर दूर से लोग आए हैं, इतनी भीड़ है यहाँ पे और बहुत ही अच्छा लग रहा है. ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे कि सच में भारत ऐसा लग रहा है कि एक हो चुका है. यहाँ पर इतनी ज्यादा भीड़ हो रही है अभी.
Same was the case with Kashi, as large number of devotees flocked to the sacred city to take the holy dip. The same fervor was witnessed in religious destinations of Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh. In Odisha too, devotees congregated at various places in capital Bhubaneswar and Cuttack to take part in the festivities. The day also witnessed mishap in Bihar, where 10 people lost their lives at different places. In Varanasi, the occasion is also celebrated as Dev Deepavali. It is marked by various events, especially the lighting of earthen diyas or lamps in the evening. There are 12 Purnima nights in one calendar year, and Kartik Purnima is considered to be very special. Kartik Purnima, or the night of the full moon of Kartik month of the Hindu calendar, falls 15 days after Diwali. Diwali is the night of Kartik Amavasya. The night Kartik Purnima has special significance for the Hindus who consider it auspicious to take a holy dip in sacred waters on this occasion. With Bureau Inputs, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
And Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman attended the 6th World Congress on Rural and Agricultural Finance in New Delhi. And during the event, she said that the government has always put farmers' issues on a larger landscape.
This government, both in its tenure earlier between 2014 and 19 and now, has clearly put the rural development and farmer concerns on a larger landscape of food security, national security, farmer conditions, and overall looking at what's happening to the water management and soil fertility. So the larger and the smaller issues have all been touched upon by the government through various steps that it has taken. We are looking at an India which clearly acknowledges more than proportionate dependence on rural life, more than proportionate dependence on agriculture.
The Finance Minister also emphasized that farmers should opt for ENAM, the Electronic National Agricultural Marketing, for them to avail better prices for their produce. She added that there is a need for the farmers to contribute in solar energy generation, participation in wind energy, installing solar panels in farms, etc. She said that the government wants the farmers to become better.
The ENAM is something on which I want to place emphasis, which is making sure there is an electronically operated national level marketplace where a farmer producing his produce can at his local level, using the digital platform available, is able to see which is the best place to sell his produce. The ENAM is being pushed very much by the union government, and many states have agreed also to take it up at their level.
Let's now look at news from across the country. Here's our regional roundup.
Lok Janshakti Party President Chirag Paswan announced that his party will contest 50 seats in the Jharkhand Assembly elections, scheduled to be held in 5 phases between November 30th and December 20th. 17 people killed and 4 injured today as passenger vehicle skids and falls into deep gorge in Jammu and Kashmir's Doda district. The accident took place near the Marmat area of the hilly district. Thousands of migratory birds of about 10 species found dead around Sambhar Lake, the country's largest inland saltwater lake near Jaipur. Officials say they suspect water contamination is one of the reasons for the deaths but are awaiting viscera test reports. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath says the day is not far when people from the country would be able to visit Nankana Sahib in Pakistan. He congratulated Prime Minister Narendra Modi for opening of the Kartarpur Sahib corridor.
A quick check on the main international news. Well, US President Donald Trump has vowed to release transcripts of his phone call with President of Ukraine. The first public hearings in the investigation are set for Wednesday and Friday. The Democratic-led US House of Representatives committees leading the impeachment inquiry into President Donald Trump released a transcript of a Pentagon official's testimony as Trump continued to see over the investigation. Now, Trump is threatened with removal from office over allegations of abusing his powers and breaking the law by pressurizing Ukraine to supply damaging information on rival Democrats. And that concludes Newsnight for tonight. Thanks for being with us. Namaskar.